Peace. Welcome back to the Real Revenue Show, where we discuss real business concepts that'll help you grow and scale any business model. We're your hosts. I'm Malcolm Bowser. This is Andre Trust, and we are back with you with another great topic. Today, we're going to be talking about whether it's better to take investors or to bootstrap your business, and we're going to be talking from a few different places, like, from beginner level to advanced and wherever you are in your business. So welcome, Andre. Thank you for being here again.
Of course,
Of
always.
course. How you been?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. We're
Got,
we're going through a little transition period right now.
got you.
I'm losing both of my assistants.
Oh no.
Nah, but it's good reasons though. It's
Yeah.
good reasons. I planned for this for a while. Both of them are stellar.
Right.
I fully expected to lose both of them. I've had several conversations. It's not a shocker.
Yeah.
One got a really good offer that I encouraged her to take,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one, who's been my main assistant for like the past 3 years, I think she was finally ready.
Yeah.
I always joke because she's been my assistant, but she's an assistant to like a businessman. So by virtue of being my assistant, she's also a businesswoman.
Mm.
And it just got to that point where I was like, hey, I think it's time that you start, this company. Like, I think this is a really good fit for you. And she was like, dang, like it is a really good fit. I actually think I would be, and it was like Mr. Miyagi, wax on,
Yeah.
wax off. So I
Yeah.
was just like, okay, like, what's this? And she's like, oh yeah, that's just X, Y, and Z. You got to build a system. I was like, you're ready.
Yeah.
So
It's
it's
time.
dope. It's time. So I'm very happy for her. Like 6 months, she'll be making six figures. It's not even a thought in my mind.
That's tough.
That we have the setup, the structure, everything. She's rolling. She even came to me. She was like, Andre, I didn't get what you were saying, but when she was starting her LLC a few years ago,
Yeah.
and she had like the name of the company. And I was like, hey, I think you should switch it to like your name
Mm-hmm.
and like consulting LLC, because like you can consult for anything.
Right.
Right. So that'd be the parent company. And then you could do DBAs and
Mm-hmm.
own other companies underneath, but you need to have a parent company. And she was like, I didn't really get it at that time.
Right.
But like I had did what you said, obviously, like I trust you. So I did what you said. And now years later, as I'm getting ready to like start this company, I'm like, dang, I gotta redo X, Y, and Z. And it's like, no, I don't. I just have to file the DBA, like you said. And
Right.
I was like, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was kind of funny, and I've been coaching her and going through. So it's kind of dope to see. She's like a little sister to me.
That's dope.
So I think it's really cool to, she hits me up like, I got another client, and I got another client. Like, oh my God, she just hit me up like 5 minutes ago. Like, hey, I have a meeting with the CEO.
That's
And I'm like, hey, this is how you close them.
yeah. That's
I think
tough.
that's super awesome. I'm very excited to see how that goes for her. What's
Super
going on
tough.
with you, man?
Bro, right now we just like tightening up loose ends for couple digital products we have coming out, and I'm excited about that. But you know the way where like you've been working on a project so long, like the closer you get to finishing, it feels like it's further. It's actually like you're actually
Further
further
away.
from it. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So every time I feel like okay, we good, something always pops up like oh we need this, but this goes back to a couple of our episodes before where right now we're at the point where things don't need to be perfect. So I'm happy about that. We're all on the same page. Like they don't need to be perfect. They just need to work.
Yeah.
And then we're just gonna gonna go. And I'm excited.
And it's like what I told you, bro. Like the customer is always going to tell you what they want, bro.
Right,
You might
right.
as well just get it to market,
Same.
and,
That's
and then
and that's right. Like we
and then the
just
customer is going to tell you what they want.
at this point, like we just making sure like the systems don't break. You know what I'm saying? Like technology, not what we did, but technology, making sure like autoresponders are working, making sure these like the pages are working, the website is working. That's all we're really doing right now. Other than that, we're
Yeah.
good. Like we've put in the pain, and I'm ready. You know what I mean? Ready.
Yeah, I'm ready too, bro.
You know what I mean? And
I'm ready to be a customer, bro. I'm ready.
yeah, no, bro, and I'm excited because like this right now, what we're doing, like I thought about it, I'm just like, this is probably going to be like the crossroads in the business, rather meaning like I can pivot and do this for the next few years to come, for the next five, and I'm not worried, I'm not relying on just straight podcasting with my pops. Like this can branch off to so many different things, and I'm just like, I'm excited, like what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's another like piece of my life is about to start. You know what I mean? So I'm excited about that.
I'm going through a pivot as well, bro.
Yeah.
I won't reveal it yet.
Yeah.
Where if I get this approved and I get this funding, yeah, we gonna go through a pivot as well. A couple things gonna change up, bro. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, and then you know what's crazy too, and this might be a topic for another day. Like I'm slowly like compiling it in my head, but I took a course on content marketing, 2015, like when I just graduated, right?
Yeah.
And I had nothing to apply it to. I just my pops just kind of knew like, okay, we need to do, this is it's a skill that we might need to just take this course. It was bread, right? Took the course or whatever, and again, I had nothing to apply it to, so it was all kind of like Chinese to me. Right? I'm just kind of taking notes, just kind of like understanding. I guess you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Fast forward, I stumbled upon the notes like the other day, right? Just in my office, I just stumbled upon the notes, and it all literally like makes complete sense. And I'm just like, yo, you know how much time I could have saved if I'd have had these notes probably like 3 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's probably one of like the biggest time wasters. I think entrepreneurs, especially newbie entrepreneurs like myself, were when it's like you read all these books and you have nothing to apply it to. You take these courses, you have nothing to apply it to, and you just kind of are reading and doing these things for nothing essentially. Not for nothing because all knowledge is great, but if you have nothing to apply it to, it's like, what are you doing with it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was just like, damn, I could have saved so much time, but things happen
And
for a reason.
pain.
Yeah.
Pain. That's my biggest one. Just save time on pain.
Oh
bro.
my God,
Save
bro. I'm
pain.
just like, like stuff. I'm like, I'm literally like, this makes complete sense now. And I could have actively used this a year or two ago. I'm just like,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying? You live and you learn. So, and that's one of my things where I'm trying to, like what I'm doing now with the project we have now, I don't want people to run into that to where like, they're learning these things that I'm teaching, but they have nothing to apply it to. I'm trying to like, plug those holes to where like that's not a problem.
That's dope. I never thought about that perspective
Bro, I'm telling you, think about it. Like,
of like, of having that opportunity to be like, hey, I can see that you're not going to be able to apply this. So let me try to frame it in a way where you can just apply it out the gate
exactly.
versus 7 years later. And it's like, dang, I could have been on this a decade ago.
Right. You know what I mean? And you know what's crazy too, and it's another reason too. Like most of the people, like the big entrepreneurs and stuff like that, if you ask them what books they're reading, they're very specific books. They're not like the overarching business books that everybody really talks about. They're very specific. Like if they are thinking about marketing, they're reading and devouring everything when it comes to marketing itself. You know what I mean? If they're trying to get into like ads, they just reading everything about ads. If they're trying to get into copywriting, they're reading everything about copywriting, and then they're able to kind of apply it to this. Like, okay, I'm working on a sales page, so I can apply this book to this. You get what I'm saying?
That's like me with systems.
Exactly.
Like I read like systems textbooks. Like, like it's very different from like a book that you pick up off the shelf.
Right.
It's like something that like a corporation made. And it's for somebody. You would have to focus on that niche so much that you would know to even look in that direction to find something like that.
Exactly. Like, so that's the kind of where I'm working towards now. But other than that, man, full steam ahead. It's about to be game time. It's about to be game time.
You know how I'm rocking. I'm always supporting everything. I'm ready.
You know what I'm saying? So let's get into this topic, man. Taking on investors versus bootstrapping. And this came to me because I was thinking about like just again the overall journey that I've taken with the podcast and the business I have with my pops and my stepmom, and we've had people like offer like to put up money, $50,000, $100,000 towards a percentage of our company and things like that. However, when I thought about it, it just seemed like I'm working for you now, and I don't like that idea. So that's always one of the reasons, especially starting out. Like, it feels like I don't really have enough leverage to stand on to where if we take on investors, that I'm able to kind of throw my weight around as well. If at that point when people were looking to invest, we really did not really have a full working business model. So at that point, we would have been working for that investor. You know what I mean? Whatever they
Yeah.
wanted, that's what we would have had to do. So that's kind of why I've always been a little jaded towards taking on investments. It just feels like at some
Yeah.
point I'm gonna be working for you instead of this actually helping me grow my business model. And that could be me just being inexperienced in negotiating and things like that. So I've always kind of erred on the side of bootstrapping, but I understand how tough that can be as well. Like if I
Mm.
had somebody else's money to work with, a lot of stuff would have been way easier. So what are your thoughts on it?
So I have I have mixed feelings about this, right? Because obviously I've ran through the full gamut of everything. So I always recommend in the beginning you always should bootstrap. I don't even think you should be looking for money. Just to be completely honest, right? That's a mistake I see with a lot of entrepreneurs. I was actually talking to my buddy the other day, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna take on some investors." I said, "Investors for what?" He was like, "Yeah, I just need more capital." I'm like, "Bro, capital for what?" Right? You still gotta explain. So there needs to be like steps. There needs to be like, organization to why do you need the capital. So that's question number one. Is like, why do you need money?
Right.
Right? Rarely does money ever actually solve the issue. Like this is something that I didn't know for a while. Money is not really going to solve the problem. The real win comes from like how well your concept is put together.
Got you.
So that is often free. Like you don't really need, exorbitant of amounts of money in order to do that, right? So I always recommend starting out the gate with bootstrapping and never give up percentages of your company ever. Right? So I'm okay with giving up percentages down the line, but there needs to be a specific set of criteria that kind of comes with giving up a percentage of the company.
Right. Right.
A lot of people don't understand that taking on an investor that's inexperienced as well, who just has money, is dead weight. That's a fast way to just dig a grave for yourself. So I always recommend bootstrapping out the gate because bootstrapping is one going to allow you to learn the business and forces you to be creative. Because, like, example, right? We're doing our podcast and stuff. How many times have I changed our background since we've started?
Right.
Right. And it's like,
Right.
it's just me experimenting around my office.
Right.
Like, I'm
Right.
in a different location today. I'm experimenting with the lighting. And it's like, so what? Right.
Right.
And the reason is because I'm making attempts before I spend money. Why would I want to? I don't care how much money I have. Right. The goal in business is to not lose money. Like I'm
Right.
never gonna have too much money where I'm just spewing out money to spew it out. Like nah, I run our books. Every single dollar is accounted for, and I'm gonna make sure that that remains that way for as long as I'm in charge of money. Right. So a lot of people come out the gate and it's like, well, to start a podcast or to start something, I need the works. Nah, man, you need proof of concept.
Bro. Yeah. Like
You need proof of concept.
I tell people that all the time, man. I've seen people like like example like start their podcast, buy these big backdrops, super expensive mics. I'm just like, yo, you can get a USB mic on Amazon for $30.
Bro, my Nexaco camera right here is like $50 off Amazon.
You get what I'm saying? Like you don't have to, you don't need the works at that point. And you know what's crazy too, because and this goes into like just watching other businesses at different levels because like they watch like Joe Rogan's podcast or something like that and think like, dude, I need a studio, I need this, I need that. When if you watch his first couple podcasts, they were in like a closet, you know what I mean, with cheap mics
Yeah.
and cheap cameras. It was dark lighting. You didn't know what the hell was happening, and then they gradually, improved. So that's what I think that a lot of businesses they kind of think like, yeah, I just need more money so my business could look like that off the bat, and it's just like that's the wrong way to think about it.
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
don't think I don't think people should be trying to, and you mentioned it, right? You mentioned a business model that works. Why are you trying to raise capital? You don't even know if the business model works.
Right.
Right? The best thing that you could do for a business, right, is get some revenue. Just get some revenue. Like, oh, but I don't have, just get some revenue. Like I started my real estate company once again out of my buddy's bedroom,
Right.
right? His spare bedroom. Like that's what I started it off. Just very simple, very straightforward. And our goal was I'm not going to put a dollar into this. We didn't spend a single dollar until we made $1. because if the concept and the idea is sound, then you should just be able to make $1 if you can sell yourself,
Right.
right? If you can make people understand. So a big part of it too is, um, you know, when you're trying to gain funds, right? Is and I'll ask you this question, right? What do you think is like the main? And this is not to put you on the spot, but I like to ask questions.
Right. Right. Right.
So what do you think is the main thing necessary to raise any dollar amount of capital, whether it be 1,000 or 30 million?
I think some type of social proof of concept, like some type of way, because if you trying to, in my head, if you're trying to get money from an investor, they need to know I need to make my money. I'm gonna make my money back, right? So
So
I need to know if this business even works, not just off of an idea, right?
yeah. So there's a couple things.
Okay.
But all of those things get like they all fall under one overarching thing. So it's like 10 specific things that you need to raise capital.
Okay.
They all are a part of one thing, which is just transference of certainty.
Makes
Like
sense.
that's just all it is, right?
Makes
I
sense.
need to transfer my level of certainty to you. So however that's done, right? Whether that be I fly somebody out and we go to a dinner and I'm like, hey, listen, look at the city. What do you see? You don't see any businesses here.
Right.
Why? Because people don't have any money to build these businesses up. But once these businesses get built up, we get abatements from the city for taxes. We get X, Y, and Z. You would be the first. Like it's an immediate transfer certainty. Like, okay, this makes sense. It's logical. This dude has clearly done his research, market research. He's clearly done the steps. He's clearly identified the players. He's clearly done every single matter of fact. Here's the money, right? So, but I don't ever recommend raising capital just for capital. Ever.
Right.
Like ever, right? So if you're gonna give up a percentage of your company, it better be to somebody who knows what the hell they're doing, right? So, like example, Shark Tank, right? A lot of people, I'll talk to people and they'll reference Shark Tank a lot, like which the Shark Tank is completely fake, by the way. That's not realistic at all. There's so much due diligence that goes into that process.
Right. Right.
That like they obviously it's for entertainment,
Right.
but like Shark Tank isn't what people think Shark Tank is, and that's exceptionally fake. That's like me walking in the bank and being like, "Yep, I made $2 million last year," and I don't have any statements to prove it or
Right.
or
Right.
anything to show. Like that just doesn't work that way. But one of the things that people miss often, right, when there's a deal and they have all the sharks, right, is normally they pick a shark based on like his ability to sway, he or she's ability to sway something.
Right.
Has nothing to really do with the money. They all have money,
Right.
but it's like Mark Cuban is a tech monster, right? Barbara Cochran is a
estate.
real estate animal. So if I'm going to be doing something with real estate, would I want a tech guy? Or would I want somebody, a real estate guru? I'd probably want the real estate person. So when you're raising capital, it shouldn't be any different. You might as well take a loan, right? I would say bootstrap, then go loans, then take on an investor, and that has to be a strategic investor who brings value to the company and to the bottom line. And it can't just be money. If it's just money, man, go somewhere else, go find it, go get a loan, go try to do something else.
Yeah, because bro, like getting an investor, it just seems like I'm getting shackled. Because again, when I was offered for $100,000 in a percentage, I was just like, yo, I haven't even made $100,000 yet. So like, why the hell would I even give you that much leverage over something like we're really kind of just getting our footing on? So then I was just like, nah, the idea of it would just kind of sound like, nah, I'm okay, right? I just, something just didn't feel right about it because again, I felt like I'm gonna be working for you when the whole idea of us becoming entrepreneurs was to have some type of autonomy over what we're doing and to learn, but to just start now working for you to get your money back, not with it. And again, like you said, the point you made about like somebody knowing your business, if the person doesn't know what my business is or understand what I'm trying to do, then defeats the entire purpose. Like I can go dust my resume off and go get a job at that point.
And one of the things that's like I want to like not overlook. I hope I don't lose my train of thought. It was important.
Okay, good.
But essentially when you take on an investor early, you don't know what your company is capable of. Right? You don't know what the value of your company is. You don't know if you gave a percentage away correctly.
Right.
So it's like, imagine starting, like, I use your company as an example because it's infinitely scalable. I've been telling you this for years. This is the most scalable thing on the face of the planet that you're doing. And I love it. I'm backing it. You see, I've joined in with you. I'm getting coached by you. And we're going back and forth on coaching to build this up together, which I think is awesome.
Yes,
right?
5, yes.
But like, you don't know what the worth of this company is.
Right.
This could be a $700 million company, a $1 billion company. Right. So selling it early, like not selling it, but giving up ownership early to somebody who is purely monetary value. I couldn't even fathom that. Nobody has percentages in my company except me and my partner.
Right.
There's not a single person that has, you don't get anything.
Right.
Right. Because we don't know where it can go. We don't know. I'm not, example, right? Like, I did this a couple years ago and I had a couple people who was like, Andre, that was kind of weird. And I'm like, well, why is it weird? But I'm gonna show you. So back in like 2017, I think, I bought every single domain that had anything to do with my name. It's like Andre Trust, Andre Michael Trust, Michael Trust, michaeltrust.com. Like, I went crazy. I have like 300, like, I don't have like 300 of them. I own all of them.
Right.
Because I don't know who Andre Trust is going to be 60 years from now.
That's smart. Yeah. Yeah.
So imagine how painful that'd be, that like I hit it big and everybody's like, oh, Andre's this great investor. And then I go to be like, go to andretrust.com and somebody got it. $70,000 for it. $70,000 if you want your name back.
Yeah.
That's madness to me. Yeah. So in the beginning stages, you know, I take ownership of everything. That's my motto. If I can touch it, I should own it. That's just how I feel about it. I'm gonna own a percentage of everything that I use, whether it's stocks, whether it's actual physical ownership of a company, whether it's like, you know, like clothing. I'm gonna either own it or my friend is gonna own it. There's no middlemen in anything that I do, and I try to cut them out immediately. Right? It just leaves money on the table. A lot of middlemen don't know what they're doing. Yeah, and I just get annoyed by it. So when you're factoring that into your business now, right, or anybody's like thinking about long-term vision, you have to always think as though your business is a multi-million-dollar company. Now you have to have a concept that's you know, scalable to that, and if you don't, then that's going to put you in a different predicament. But I've had tons of I had this one kid. He was like, "Hey man, I love what you're doing. I'd love to give you $50,000." I said, "Oh, awesome! You'd love to give me $50,000? What would that take?" And he's like, "You know, I'd want 39% of your company, X, Y, Z." I was like, "Bro, what are you talking about? You don't even know what I do. You don't even know what the value of the company is."
Right, $50,000 to a company like that's not even payroll.
50,
like
50,000, bro. I spend like $70,000 on payroll, bro.
Right,
like,
right.
You get me, like,
right.
And it's kind of annoying because they didn't take the that's what I meant by Shark Tank. It's impossible because you need to have like real tangible sheets.
So I read, I think Damon John, like in one of his books, he said like they cut those episodes down because they like one sit down is usually like all day. Like they usually going like really in depth. And then the way the show cuts it out, it's just kind of like a few like glitzy moments. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah, so that's how I'm like, you know, but it's just always funny. I like to reference them. Obviously, those dudes are winners in life.
No, yeah, because like that seems like super far fetched. Like you could just give me a presentation, I'm gonna just give you all this money.
And the reason that I say that is because I have people come to me with that, man. I have an idea. I should just be able to get $5 million. You know how difficult, like, investors are real good investors are extremely shrewd, whether it's $5,000 or $10 million or $100. They're going to approach it with the same exact due diligence. So I just want people to get that. One, you're probably going to have to bootstrap because like just getting an investor is also not easy at all. Like that's not just something, because it comes with credibility. It comes with time. It comes with, you know, and the more you bootstrap. So this is another thing. So I'll throw another nugget in here, right? I talk about setting the scene or setting yourself up to be investable. Like somebody can invest in you, right? What does that look like? People don't invest in companies. They rarely ever invest just, this idea is just miraculous. No, it's like, the person running this is going to work 18 hours a day. They believe in this. They're focused. They're locked in. Their whole family's on board. Yeah, man. There's no way that this dude could lose or this female could lose if we give them enough guidance. That's where the investments come from. It rarely comes from just unless you have like just a hitter of an idea per usual,
Right.
like a Uber,
Yeah.
you know, WeWorks, like something like that, where it's just like they'll take the idea and just replace you.
Yeah.
Right. But normally they're investing in the person. So in order to become that person that people are going to invest in, you need to be in it. Right? You need to have taken your lumps. You need to have felt what it's like. You need to know how to hire an employee and be like, you know what? I made a mistake on that employee. I made several mistakes on employees. I'm like, okay, I thought they were good, but they actually weren't good for X, Y, and Z reason. And it's my fault because I overlooked that.
Right.
So you need to be able to take your lumps and really learn from those lumps and then go get money. You don't really need, if the idea is good and you have proof of concept, money will fall from the skies. Money will fall from the skies. And if you do it correctly, which means, you know, I always say this, 2 years of tax returns, preferably 3, 250,000 in revenue, showing growth year over year, bro, you go to a bank, get any dollar amount. You could quote me on that. I don't care what anyone says. Right. And if somebody wants to be in the comments like, oh, that's incorrect. It's not. I'm living proof that it's not. And all of my business partners are living proof that it's not.
He said it's not.
And all of my mentors are living proof that it's not. Like, this is not like paper. This
Right.
is real deal execution and seeing what happens.
Right.
Bro, you walk into a bank having 2 to 3 years tax return, 250,000 in revenue, showing growth over years. They're going to look at you and be like, how much do you want? How much do you want?
Yeah.
Because that's how they make their money. I try to get people to understand that a bank doesn't make money from just having the money. The bank makes money from lending it.
Right.
So what they're looking for is a transfer of certainty. So if you can walk into the bank and say, hey, man, I'm stable. I'm a no-brainer. I'm boring. I'm going to make that payment every month.
Yeah.
It's going to get made. No matter what, it's going to get made. They're going to give you the money. It's actually, you know what's crazy, bro? Now that we talking about money and stuff like it's actually easier to go to a bank and get $5 million than it is to go to a bank and get 70,000. Like, I'm night and day difference easier. And the reason is because like they're thinking big. It's like, do I want 70,000?
And
Bro,
I guess
I'm gonna net like 2,000.
Right.
Or do I want to give it to somebody who's, you know, certain 5 million? I can make 2 off that. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and do this all day long. They're ready to. They're so ready. Russ talks about that.
And don't the loan offices, like, don't they get a percentage off that as well? Like,
Yep.
yeah.
So they want to find people.
Yeah. So yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
Right,
so
yeah.
I've had tons of people come to me like, oh, the banks aren't friendly. I said, okay, what are their criteria? What do you mean criteria? I went in there and my idea was good. It's like, you didn't even read their every single bank. If you go to the bank website right now, pull it up. They have the criteria on the bottom. Like, hey, this is what an approval looks like. And rarely do I see anybody just read that. And I told you about my mentor, right? And he's out in Atlanta killing it. He told me, Andre, you're talking too much. Shut up. Put your head down. Income producing activity for 2 to 3 years, depending on how you feel. In that window of 2 to 3, if the idea is good enough, they'll bang with you. If it needs some more work, they'll push you to 3. Right? 250,000 in revenue, growth year over year to the bottom line, whether it be, you know, net profit at the end of the year is 10,000, then the second year net profit is 25. That's growth over years, bro. And see me in 3 years, and I guarantee you that every single bank is going to give you money. And I was like, all right, cool. This dude is clearly super successful. I'm not questioning nothing that he has to say. I did it, and it was just, yo, what do you need? Right? So, but the criteria is like, I want people to reapproach how they view these things. You can even call the bank and be like, hey, man, what's your criteria? Well, we want a 650 credit score. We want X, Y, and Z. We want this 2 years tax. They'll tell you. And be like, hey, and then all you got to do is be like, okay, team, let's bring it in. These are the things we need. And if we get these things, then instead of giving up a percentage of our company, because you're going to owe someone either way, right? If you owe an investor, though, they're not going to play about that money.
Right.
But if you owe the bank, they're not going to play either. But there's actually a lot of the reason that banks be so careful with their lending is there's a lot of ways to not pay that back.
Right.
There's a lot of ways to just be like, well, I'm bankrupt.
Yeah.
Or like I did XYZ, the company went under, bro. I'm gonna take the hit for 5 years on my credit score and be back. Like, but with an investor, they're not gonna let that go away. They're gonna come after your personal assets. They want
Right.
personal guarantees. It's a lot more drastic now. Banks are getting more savvy, and
Right.
a lot of them want. But if you have good standings, they don't really require as much in those terms. So those are some of my thoughts, bro. As I look back on it, and I wish I could have I kind of wish I would have went for loans earlier. But that's just me though. I knew the idea would work. I was just kind of like, I don't want to have to owe anybody early. But I would say on your first one, go bootstrap, and on your second one, third business, fourth if you have them.
Yeah.
You should know exactly what you're doing at that point to just come in the gate with loans. And
Cause you know it's crazy because like my mom has a great idea for a business, great idea, and when she told it to me, right? She told it to me. I'm like, okay, you know, that's dope because, you know, Malcolm, you know, and my brother's an entrepreneur too. Like, you know, my son's an entrepreneur. So she's telling us, she told us, and like, I don't think she even realized like how great of an idea it was to and then I was just kind of like, I called her back one day and with mad ideas, and she was just like, oh my God, I didn't even think. I'm like, all right. And this is only from experience, the experience I've gained to this point. You get what I'm saying? So now when I start to work with her, because like me and her and my brother, we about to start, you know, laying the groundwork, start cooking a little bit. And we were talking about it, and she was just like, wow, you know a lot. I'm just like, that's only because of the experience I've gained to this point, to where if, like you said, with a loan for her stuff, I can kind of see that better than just taking on investors right away. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And it's like, so, and another nugget that I'll give away, right? And this is like the key. This is just the key. Like, take it for what it is. This has been working for me, and I'm going to continue to use it, right? So I hit people up and I pay them to talk to them. Right. So like I did this with John Henry. Shouts out to John Henry. Absolute monster. I just hit his DM one day. It was like, bro, can I pay you? And he was just kind of like, you can. You know, nobody's really like,
Yeah.
And then he kind of put out a thing after. He was like, you know what? The next whatever amount of people that hit me up, I'm gonna do it for $50. Just to kind of see.
Yeah.
And so I'm one of the first calls or whatever. And he ends up like liking me or whatever. And we had like a really good exchange. He's a really dope dude, extremely intelligent. And once again, kind of going back to that college, you know,
Right.
the college episode, never went to college, was a doorman, but is a apex predator right now. Right. So we're speaking, and he's like, yeah, you know, because I followed him from Harlem Capital, and they had raised like $30 million.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, how do you guys plan to invest? Like, and it's not to be facetious or anything like that, but like $30 million in investing is not that much.
Right.
So I'm like how, like, how do you guys plan it? And he just dropped a gem on me that I paid for. Right. He just gave me the answer. He's like, what are you talking about? The $30 million is the 10% down that we need to go get the loans from the banks. So $30 million at 10%, that's $300 million, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, oh, what?
Yeah.
You don't even need the full amount. He was like, yeah, the banks will just give it to you. Like, the ideas have to be sound. They have to be good, obviously, and stuff like that. But you just need the 10% or whatever the amount the bank wants as the down payment. So $30 million is $300 million. So if you raise $300 million, that's actually $3 billion.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, okay. I heard you now. I heard you now. I didn't hear you, bro.
Yeah.
I hear you now, right? But that comes from, once again. So I'll tie that back to this now, right? Is in the beginning you need to spend money on. We talked about this in the market research episode, right? But I'll give another perspective. You should be paying people in the beginning. It's just gonna save you so much money. Just pay somebody who knows what they're talking about to just review your stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Go scrape up $500 and offer it to somebody who you genuinely feel like they know what they're talking about, and that $500 can save you thousands and thousands of dollars plus thousands of hours of pain. So before I start anything, I interviewed 300 waiters, bro. Just like, what do you think about the waiter industry? Why doesn't it work? Why is the turnover so high? What do you guys feel? Is there health insurance involved? Like, I'm asking everything before
Right.
I even spent $1 on the restaurant. Then I'm like, hey, bartenders, well, what could make it better? Well, we feel like there's no creativity. We're just spewing out drinks that don't matter,
Right.
and we always get chastised. So like a part of the feel at Flavor Hills is like you come in, you get a authentic bartender experience, bro. We were in there the other night, and because we opened up for like hookah now, we have like a lounge in the night now,
Peep that. Peep that.
which was really dope, by the way.
Yeah.
So I'm in there. I just got back from a trip, so I was in there, and I'm like, okay, it was my first weekend seeing it, so I wanted to see it in action. So I get my section, I go in there, and I'm just kind of like looking around, and everything is dope. The lights are hitting, the music is, and Nancy, our mixologist, she comes over. She's like, "Hey, Andre, I see that you're back," and she has like the tray, the plate in her hand, like where the carrier,
Yeah.
and she just like slides it down. Woodford on the rocks is my drink. She has 3 of those because I'm with 2 of my other buddies. She slides the drinks. It looks all dope. She throws the shit in there. Like she throws the cherries in there.
Yeah.
And it was just like, and she just looked and was like, I'll be back. I have some more things for you to try. I thought that was so fire because it wasn't the experience just because I'm the owner.
Right.
That's really who she is. Right. That's what I was looking for because all the bartenders want to be that.
Right.
They want to show off their skills. They want to be the most elite of bars. So like learning all of these things up front, I just asked them questions. I was just going around asking people questions and they were just giving me the answers as to what they want. And I got that proof before we even got in. So now that I know every single thing is wrong, there's no way that the business can fail if I just implement those things.
Right.
So now I'm more willing to go get a loan or more willing to go transfer certainty because it's like, hey, this is going to be our cutting edge. This is how we stand apart from everybody else. So I don't think anyone should take any money or give up any portion of their business in the beginning stages before you have a solid foundation of what you're looking at.
Do you have a number like to say like until you hit this, don't
Honestly, until proof of concept is in my mind 30,000.
okay.
Like if 30,000 could come into your company, no matter if you're spending it on whatever, but if 30,000 could come in, I feel like honestly, if you could make 30,000, you could probably make that puts you at a crossroads. So I would say 30,000 puts you at a crossroad. $30,000 is like, is that $30,000 a pain? Or can we systemize this and can we make this better?
Right.
Because example, like I started in real estate. Real estate checks are nice checks, bro. But the issue is a lot of agents don't run it like a business. They're like, well, I could just do it all myself and keep the money.
Right.
Nah, if I'm getting a $10,000 check, right? If I can close 20 in a month, then 200,000 in a month, right? And that's not some far-fetched stuff. Like there's people out here doing that.
Right.
But I'm like, but I also want to live my life and be able to enjoy the money. So I'm okay with half and get a full staff.
Right.
So that's how it should kind of get looked at. But because it's like, okay, is this something that can be scalable? Is this something that, can it be replicated, duplicated? Can I put other people in position to have them make money as well, but also have them want to sustain and stay? Right? Have them continue to help me run it, continue to grow it, continue to scale it. Is that something? Or, and it's not I don't like to knock people's businesses ideas. I hate doing that, but also I'm not going to be the one to ever lie to you guys and just say it's okay.
Right.
Right. There's a lot of businesses that are extremely unscalable. Unscalable. Kind of like you had mentioned one time, like the person who does like customized sneakers.
Right.
It's just not scalable because it's tied to time.
Right.
And it's tied to skill.
Yeah.
So if it's tied to time and it's tied to skill, then when are you ever going to have the opportunity to train somebody, scale it up, get more people? And then if the margins are low, how are you going to pay them? How are you going to make money off their portion? Right. These are real things to think about, but you will come off like a jerk if you say out the gate. But it's like, I'm tired of that, bro. I don't care anymore, bro. I'm tired of this for real. Like I'm at the point now where you and I have been doing good to the community and we're going to continue to do good.
Facts.
Right? This is like a PSA for me, right? I'm going to continue to spew this information. I'm going to continue to give it to everybody, but I'm no longer in a state where I'm just going to be complacent about it or be like, or like beg everyone to do it.
Right.
Right. We need to start taking real steps to understanding the business, understanding if it's scalable, and removing emotion from the equation. Right. And emotion has nothing to do with this. I don't care if this is your baby. There needs to be other people involved in it.
Right.
Or it's gonna die. Or
Right.
do you want your baby to die?
Right.
Right? Or it's gonna die. Like it's stuff like that. So as I'm getting more and more now, and I'm starting to get people who's really listening, and they're starting to be like, "Yo, bro, like, I had a convo with one of my buddies from back in the day. He just hit me, and we were cool. But then he's also a fraternity brother, and he hit me up, and he was like, I won't mention his name or anything, but he's like, "Yo, man, like, my pops has a hitter of a business." And he's just so stuck in his ways. And I'm like, bro, then you have to have a conversation with him and tell him get out the way, or you have to leave.
Right.
It's just that simple. Yeah, but he's old school. He likes to touch everything, feel everything. Touch everything, feeling everything is incorrect. That is a loss. That's not a win. Right. And that's not me saying this. This is every single businessman that's ever worth. And I'm like at the beginning of my businessman journey.
Right.
And I'm reiterating these things that the legends, that the greats, that they have a blueprint for us, right? So giving up the percentage in your company early, becoming, essentially a worker to returns versus a worker to the growth of a company, detriment. Right. Owing somebody and putting yourself into mental stress, right? Because I talk about this a lot. There's financial burdens and then there's mental burdens. Not being able to sleep at night when you need to make a payment.
Right.
You're gonna start cutting corners. You're gonna start doing all of these things. But the dope part about bootstrapping is that you could just be honest with the client, man. Just be honest. Hey, you're my first client, but I promise I'm going to work 24 hours to make sure that this is the greatest thing for you. And all I'm asking in return is that if you like it, you do feel like it's the best, man, you just tell 10 of your friends. I'm just asking you, please. I'm not asking for no handouts.
Right.
I'm asking for a real shot. And if I deliver on that shot, bro, I need 10 of your friends to be involved as well. And like, that's what bootstrapping really is. And now you have a base of 100 and it's like, okay, well, now I can get a computer.
Right.
I remember, man, it was like, how when rappers sign a deal,
Yeah.
they get like a chain.
Yeah.
So I never forget this, man. Tellers and I, we were feeling good, man. We were closing deals, and we just had a convo. We were like, "Yo, our computers are slowing us down, bro. We need some better computers." And we sat there, was like, "Bro, let's go." And we went to the store. We went to Best Buy, bro, and bought these 2 nice HP computers, bro. I mean, we still got them to this day. I never get rid of them.
Yeah.
Like super dope, like with the touch screen. It was like real nice. I was like. And bro, we felt like we made it because we were just in the trenches, not spending $1 on anything.
Right.
Because I'm like, no, we don't have proof of concept, bro. We have money in the bank. I don't care. Proof of concept isn't there. We need more money. And then it was like we finally got more, and then we got the computers, and then we got an office, and then we got tables for everybody, and then we brought people in slowly, and we were just honest, like, hey, I'm not gonna buy nice desks for everybody.
Right.
We don't have the money. And even if we did have the money, I'm not buying it. Like, you prove yourself, like, and it is what it is. And we built from the ground up, and that's so dope, man. Being frugal up front, and just being real and understanding that you need proof. And now that we have proof, the idea he and I are working on right now, right, is and it's dope because there's not a single thought in my mind that I'm not gonna get funding for it. That's why it's like even more energetic.
Yeah.
It's like I'm out here with we turned like the office into like, I'm like a little kid.
Yeah.
We turned the office into like a creative space. So it's like crayons and pencils and all of this stuff everywhere. And we just been drawing out the next concept of what we're trying to do. And like, we just hit our banker. He was like, yeah, cool. Send me your 3 years of tax returns because we're more experienced. Send me 3 years of tax returns, 3 years of personals, X, Y, and Z, your profit and loss from whatever, what you've done so far in the first quarter, and then how much you want, and then we'll just figure it out. And that's it. And he's like, tell us, just put the executive summary over there, and I'm gonna read it, and it's gonna hit and transfer certainty.
Right.
Hey, we've never missed a payment. Here's all the other things that we've done. Here's assets to show.
Right.
And it just, bro, life is very easy on the other side when you take the steps, and nobody has ownership in us.
That's fun. Yo, bro, I'm so excited for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so, like, this stuff gets me so hyped. And that's how I know, like, I'm on the right path. Like, stuff like this, just the game itself. You know what I mean? Being
Yeah,
creative with what you have. Like, okay, we're going to do this with this. And on this business, we're doing, like, it's so, gets me fired up. You know what I mean? That's why I really, like, love doing this podcast because it gets me back in that creative zone. You know what I mean?
exactly.
And that,
Exactly. I'm hyped for it, bro.
yeah,
I think we're gonna do phenomenal. I just want people to start, tell your friends about us.
right,
Right?
right.
And the reason that we're trying to do it this way, we haven't put out any ads. We want to do it organically because we're trying to build with people who's gonna help us build. So the
Right.
same thing I'm telling you guys to do is what we're doing right now.
Exactly.
Right? Malcolm and I are building this from the ground. I wish you guys could see my setup. I can't take the camera off. But like it's the most basic of setups, man. And I'm gonna be genuine. I'm gonna be transparent. And I know I come off blunt, but that's just a part of getting to know me. And you'll realize that I'm blunt because I actually care. I deeply care.
Right.
And I just want to make sure that other people are good. So I think this journey is gonna be dope. And if we get 10 of you to tell 10 of your friends,
Facts,
and those
man.
10 tell 10 of your friends, that's how I want to grow.
You know what I mean? So with that being said, I think that's all to be said there. Hope
Yeah.
you guys take the information in this episode and apply it to what you have, apply it to your business and your mindset as well. This has been the Real Revenue Show. I'm Malcolm. This is Andre. Our information where you can reach us is in the description below. And if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever, we will appreciate if you leave us a rating and a comment. And yeah, peace. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Peace.